As I'm sure you've heard our president say on more than one occasion, it really is proud to be a Spartan on a day like today in a facility like this. And it is my pleasure now to start the program by introducing to you the chairman of our Board of Trustees, Mr. Don DeFawcett. Don?
Thanks, Dan. What a great turnout. If we'd known this, we'd have made it a fundraiser. This is tremendous. First of all, welcome family, friends, faculty, staff, community leaders. We very much appreciate you being here for the rededication of the Bob Martinez Athletic Center and dedication of the Health Sciences and Human Performance Building. I might editorialize for a second. This building was named after Bob in his honor back in 1987 timeframe. I think we just compared notes. Bob was sitting governor of Florida at that time. And he was not here for a dedication. There was no formal dedication. He just basically received a letter in the mail, and he mailed a nice letter back, and that was it. So we're making up for that, Bob. We're doing it right today. We want to be sure that you and Mary Jane and your entire family really appreciate what you have done for the university. The fall is a very exciting time to be part of our university. You can't help but be energized by the incredible amount of optimism and enthusiasm on campus right now. Our enrollment is almost 7,000 students, which is a record for the university. And the university is just growing like gangbusters, as you can see, as you just walk out and experience the vibrancy of this campus. Speaking of energy, I want to really recognize the Spartan Band for playing when we came in. They did a great job. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that all this is under the leadership of Ron Vaughn. Ron has done an incredible job with the university. It's made my job as chairman very, very easy. So thank you, Ron, for all that you have done. So at the end of this, we encourage you all to tour the facilities. The building will be opened up. The rooms are spectacular. I think you will find that this rivals the best of any academic institution, particularly in the South. It will be a real magnet and drawing card for us to help on the recruiting efforts, as well as retention of students, and really generating a lot of enthusiasm in the area. 6 outstanding Spartan athletes are featured in this building, and we recognize them today. There are athletes of the century, Freddie Solomon and Tino Martinez, and members of the UT Athletic Hall of Fame, Rick Thomas, Jane Castor, Sam Militello, and Don Rollins. I'd also like to introduce the platform party. Ron Vaughn, who I just mentioned, and UT's First Lady and our biggest athletic booster, Renee Vaughn. Mayor of Tampa, the Honorable Bob Buckhorn. We're delighted to have Governor Bob Martinez and his wife, Mary Jane, here today. And the front row all comprises members of Bob's family, so please welcome them as well. Janet McNew, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. Larry Marfise, Director of Athletics. We've been joking with Larry. You've got to go see his new home. It's kind of impressive here. Britt Shirley, President of the Faculty Senate. Matthew Rutkowitz, President of the Student Government. And Ryan Kidd, Student Athletic Committee Representative. We also extend a warm welcome to present and past members of our Board of Trustees. Would all of you that have been or are on the board, please raise your hand so we can recognize you. Wow, that's great. Thank you. And we'd also recognize local dignitaries that are here. Many of you in the room, I'm not going to go through the names, but very impressive turnout today for this event. Our celebration today would also not have been possible without the talents of all of our project partners. A complete listing of the individuals and companies who took these buildings from concept to conclusion is in your brochure. And thanks for joining us today. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mayor Bob Buckhorn, still beaming from Tampa's success as the host city of the Republican National Convention. Mayor Buckhorn.
It's only because I'm so exhausted that I haven't slept in about a month, but now that you say that, let me recognize Al Austin, who not only led the effort to bring the RNC here, but also spearheaded the effort to raise the vast majority of the money. Ladies and gentlemen, when the entire world was watching this city, we performed better than anybody has ever done it before. Al, thank you for your tireless efforts. And you mentioned Jane Castor as part of the Hall of Fame here. She was a basketball player and a volleyball player. And I will tell you, the leadership of Jane Castor during the course of the RNC set the standard for how policing of these events should go. If you think about 4 years ago, there were 800 arrests in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, in Tampa, there were 2. That's a Spartan. But to all of you, Governor Martinez and Mrs. Martinez, it's a pleasure for me to be here. Any success that I have is because I stand on the shoulders of mayors who have come before me. Mayors who have sowed the seeds, mayors who have set the standards, mayors who have laid the groundwork for the next generation behind them to be successful. I am only as good as those who came before me, and Governor Martinez is absolutely one of them. When you look at the renaissance of this city, and you look at where this city is right now and how well we are positioned, it is largely because of the work of previous mayors, and specifically Mayor, then Governor Bob Martinez. I mean, if you think about the Performing Arts Center, it would not have happened without Governor Martinez. You think about the Riverwalk. We've had 5 mayors who have helped to develop that Riverwalk. I'm going to be the lucky one that's going to get to finish it, but it's because of Mayor Martinez. If you look at the renaissance of Tampa and the quad block and all of the things that went on when the mayor was the mayor of the city of Tampa, what we see now is a direct result of those seeds that were sown by this man right here, and many of you who I see in this audience who have been friends of his for a long time. But what tells me more about Bob Martinez than anything is that after being governor, after being drug czar, he came home. And there was a need in this community because the chamber was faltering. There was a void in leadership. And most governors go off and rest on their laurels. They go off and be senior statesmen. This guy came home, rolled up his sleeves, took on the leadership of the Chamber of Commerce, and ushered us and that institution into its next iteration. That is truly understanding why we serve. And we serve to leave this city and this state and this country in better shape than it was given to us. He served to leave it for these grandkids here. He served to leave it for my kids. He served because he believed in all of us and he believed in this city. This dedication today is a reflection of this governor's commitment to this community, his quiet, unassuming, humble way that he has changed this city in ways that we can't even imagine. But it's also a reflection of where UT stands right now. If you look at what's going to happen over the next decade, if you look at the efforts to make this river the center of our downtown, not the western edge, if you look at how we're going to develop from Howard and Armenia to the Hillsborough River, if you look at the West Bank project, if you look at the completion of the Riverwalk, Tampa has never been positioned better than it is right now, and this economic engine that we are sitting in right now is a key part of it. A key part of it. Not just athletics. I get this. I was a student athlete at Penn State. I know how important this is. But the larger issue is the role of UT in the development of our downtown. It's exciting, folks. 10 years from now, they're going to look back on this time, and they're going to say this is where Tampa turned the corner. And it will be largely because of the foundation given to us by Governor Martinez. Thank you, Governor and Mrs. Martinez, and thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Mayor. I am here as Chief Academic Officer to tell you about the academic part of this building, which is the Health Sciences and Human Performance building, which is right over there. And I want to start that by just saying how much the addition of these new health science and human performance facilities has enhanced our ability to offer quality instruction in health science, human performance, anatomy and physiology, allied health, public health, physical education, and athletic training. there's been an explosion of student interest and enrollment in these areas, in these health science and human performance related areas. We've added majors in that area. We're considering adding graduate programs. It was absolutely crucial to continue the expansion and to support this interest and this enrollment growth in these crucial areas. And one of the things that we know is that President Vaughn is always going to step up and bring academic facilities as well as these marvelous athletic facilities together to support the growth and continued development of the University of Tampa. The expansion in health sciences and human performance that's over there, and I hope you'll go visit, includes the addition of 5 classrooms for a total of 9 classrooms over in that area. There's a new 1,700 square foot human performance laboratory. In a way, this is kind of the crown jewel of that area over there. It's a state-of-the-art facility where students are already studying the effects of exercise and nutrition on human performance. The laboratory is sufficiently advanced that local professional teams and equipment manufacturers have expressed interest in using our facilities for research and evaluation. And that research and evaluation here at the University of Tampa always goes on between our faculty and our students. So that's a great student faculty research area. There also are a couple of other student faculty research areas. There's a new marine science laboratory over there and a new vertebrate paleontology lab for faculty and student research. In the classrooms that I mentioned, the 9 new classrooms, there's a really dazzling state-of-the-art technology in those classrooms to bring those up to the highest standards for instructional use. There's a renovated anatomy and physiology laboratories. There are actually 2 renovated human anatomy and physiology laboratories serving students not only in health sciences and human performance, but also in nursing and other health sciences. There are 2 individual skill assessment rooms for athletic training and physical education. Our athletic training area is one of our most vibrant and has long been in need of expanded facilities. 2 anatomy and I mentioned the anatomy and physiology labs, and the human performance lab are on the first floor, and they'll be open for tours following the dedication ceremony, so you can see these wonderful things. As I said, I know how wonderful this athletic facility is, but do go look at those academic facilities because I think you'll really be impressed with them. The health science and human performance, besides the classrooms and the labs and the research spaces, there's an administrative office for health science, human performance, and there are 18 faculty offices there in that area. There's an academic study and lounge. There's a conference room. It's really quite a wonderful home for our health sciences and our burgeoning health sciences and human performance program. And I urge you to go over and have a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm Larry Marfis, the Director of Athletics. And I thought this was a fundraising meeting. So if anybody would like, we have an elderly gentleman here named Dan Gura who would be glad to talk to you about naming opportunities in the facility. He is elderly. I really don't know how to explain what we have here. Really, when you think about it, we're a fairly young university. We're barely 80 years old. And in the realm of higher education, that's young. Not only is the university young, but our athletic program is young. More than half of the athletic teams and programs that we have are barely 20 years old, as we currently know them. We have had unbelievable success. You know, how do we explain that we've won over 75% of all of our athletic contests in the history of this university? How do we explain the fact that we have 12 national championships, numerous regional championships, and so many conference championships we can't count them all? How do we explain the vast number of All-Americans that we have, the vast and large number of academic All-Americans, which we're really proud of? There are all-conference and all-regional players, again, too many for us to count. It's really a remarkable story, and it was all done with old, tired, and crusty facilities, and as I once heard a recruit say, vintage facilities. I thought that was a great word. This facility tells and helps us explain this story. We're rededicating this facility today to our student athletes and coaches, those who have been here prior, those who are here, and those who are coming. This is a great, great tradition that we have, and we're showcasing all of that in this new facility. So please take your time and look at all that we have. It allows us to highlight our past, and our present, but it also allows us to host our future. And that's what higher education is. It's simply a facility with our future in it. It gives us the opportunity to recognize those who achieved great academic and athletic success. It also gives us opportunity to highlight a cross-section of our Spartans. And we literally just took a cross-section. Those are in the Hall of Fame room. That's Jane Castor, Rick Thomas, and Rick is here. Rick was not only a great standout football player, but he has been a great mentor to many of our student athletes and a highly successful businessman in the community. And we're very, very proud of what Rick achieved. Sam Militello, who chose the career of athletics, who's one of our graduates and is back coaching, and Dawn Rollins, who is also one of our former great female athletes. It gives us an opportunity to memorialize our athletes of the century, Tino Martinez and Freddie Solomon. I don't think we need to discuss in length anything about either of those two individuals, but all I can tell you is we sure miss Freddie. He always brightened up my day. He bounced in here once or twice a week, and I say bounce because he'd literally run in, say something, run out, run back, come back, and he always made you happy and always made you proud. You would never know of the great athletic success that he achieved because his underlying tone was always that he wanted athletes to give back. So because of that, right here is a new award that we are going to present, the Community Service Award, to whichever one of our student athletes represents the mission that Freddie was on to help make them understand that they need to give back. In this new rededicated facility, we have double the size of our weight room and conditioning area, which is a major plus. It sounds great that we have all this great space, but we've also doubled the size of our athletic program, and we have lots and lots of student athletes, and we're very, very proud of that. We've tripled the size of our sports medicine and rehabilitation area. We built 2 new locker rooms with 425 lockers, and the lockers are spectacular, beautiful. They're really fantastic. That was up from 240, so we've, again, close to doubled the amount of lockers that we have. We added a 2-story study lounge, which is right here where General Kelly, I've promoted him this morning, is standing. He should be a general. Bob, do you have any pool in Washington? Yes. Where he is standing. And we placed that facility intentionally in a prominent area in the location because we want students, not only our student athletes, that facility is available to all students. We want them to realize when they come through those doors that education is paramount and that their learning is the reason that they are here. We also have offices now for every coach. Some of you that may have been familiar with our old facility know that we had several coaches jammed into facilities at times. Now each coach has, I don't want to say the luxury, but has their own office, and that's a great plus. And we've also added 5 new meeting rooms that have state-of-the-art electronics. And I did say art, because if you'll notice, throughout this building, we have added lots of art. Most of it is Spartan-themed, because we are the Spartans, and we want people to realize that. Spartans were fierce warriors. Some challenged that, but we know they were, and we want our student athletes to realize that they were Spartans and that they are Spartans. So it's very, very important. The minute you walk through the doors of this facility, you get the impression that the University of Tampa cares about its students and how hard they work on and off the field. And that's what we want out of the students. We want them to come here. We want them to feel a sense of pride the minute they hit the front doors of this facility. I want to take this time to thank our architects, and we had several architects working on this project. I know Andy was in the back. Is Robert here? Robert's in the back as well. Thank you, gentlemen. You did an outstanding job. As you can tell, we had limited space, and they did just a fantastic job designing this. But most importantly, I want to thank the senior leadership of this university. And that really isn't leadership. That's one individual, and that's Dr. Ronald Vaughn. Without his vision and without his drive, none of this would have been made possible. I'm a guy who grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I see colors. I say, that's beautiful, put it up. He sees colors and says, that's not reflective of what we need and what we want. That's just a small example of the type of detail and the things that we have learned. So I want you all to stand up and give Dr. Vaughn a rousing welcome. He's coming up next, but to thank him for this great facility.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Larry. We're fortunate to have lots of passionate people at UT that work every day, get the chance to change lives. It's a great place to be, and both Janet and Larry are two of those. I have to add a quick comment on our construction team because I've been one of the people that's been a bit of a slave driver, pushing, pressing, at times very difficult schedules, difficult constraints to do what we have done here under challenging circumstances. And there's about 15 names listed in your program. And we had several different construction teams, several different architects, talented, hard-working group all. And I would like to just say thank you to all of them for all of what they have done. They've been great partners for us. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll say you inspire us as well. Thanks, all of you, for your involvement and support. You know, it's great to see Bruce Sampson and Ada Jean here. You know, they did a lot for the university for many years, and they're still great friends. It's good to see other mayors here. I saw Mayor Greco duck in back there someplace. And again, lots of friends, so thank you for your support that's helped to make these things happen. We are proud of our history, about 81 years, as Larry alluded. And where you're standing now, if you can picture this place being built during the WPA, during the Great Depression years, and you're standing in what was fragments of the state fairgrounds. I know when we started construction on this, the front of this building, we pulled off the first panel and we saw the remnants of Jackson Horticultural Center with rose vines drawn on in a very faint way. So it reminds me, UT was launched during this Great Depression, 1931, amidst great hopes, great expectations, and the expectation that UT would change lives and help to change this community. And of course, you're seeing how we have enriched this community in many ways. Through economic climates that were even worse than today, it's sometimes difficult to imagine that they really were worse, but they were. Early leaders were dedicated, they were pioneers, they took bold steps all along the way to build what they hoped would become a great university. As we look around the world today, we're reminded that education is even more important today. For an enlightened society and a strong economy, it all depends on an educated citizenry. Our ability to understand, enjoy, have an impact on the world, compete, it all depends in great measure on education. Bob Martinez, one of UT's favorite sons, is a prime example of the real promise of education. Bob was born in Tampa, the grandson of Spanish immigrants. He attended local public schools and as a first-generation college student, earned his bachelor's degree in education. That was back in 1957. Bob went on to receive his master's degree in labor and industrial relations. He married his high school sweetheart, Mary Jane Marino, and they will celebrate their 58th wedding anniversary this year. Yeah, I think so. Bob and Mary Jane have 2 children, daughter Sharon, here today, married to Rich Romansky, and son Robert, and daughter-in-law Lisa, all of whom right up here in front with their families. Bob's career path does exemplify the wonderful transformation that education helps to make possible. In 1987, as the newly elected governor of Florida, Bob addressed UT's graduating class way back then, and just a couple of snippets from that. Bob told the students then that they had received an education worthy of any challenge. He shared his early career dreams of being a teacher. Then he told the graduates, sometimes goals do change. And he took the audience through his wonderful career path as educator, labor relations specialist, a restaurateur, mayor of Tampa, governor of the state, and United States drug czar. Bob closed his remarks that day by urging graduates to remain flexible in planning their lives and their work, but he had no idea, I think, his own distinguished career in public services would eventually span more than 40 years. Bob is currently a senior policy advisor with Holland & Knight and co-chairs the firm's Florida government advocacy team. And again, as the mayor said earlier, unlike most others who've been great leaders around the country, they often kind of fade into the background, but both Bob and Mary Jane have just been wonderful as they've been heavily involved, committed to helping the community move forward, committed to helping the university move forward. Bob and Mary Jane, I ask that you come on up here and join Renee and me at the podium. It's no secret that Bob is proud to be a graduate of the University of Tampa. He and Mary Jane are active UT supporters. Bob has previously been inducted into the UT Athletic Hall of Fame and has been honored as a UT Alumnus of the Year. Bob, it's an honor and a privilege today for the university to rededicate the Bob Martinez Athletic Center in your honor. There is a plaque right here which we're about to uncover. This plaque recognizing your and Mary Jane's steadfast and enduring commitment to UT as a student, as an alumnus, as a trustee emeritus, a rare honor, and dear friend. It'll be hung with pride just inside the door back there on the wall where everyone will look. Now I'd like to invite and thank Bob Martinez and Mary Jane. And here we go.
Not sure I know what to say, Ron. It's tough for a politician not to have something to say. First of all, I want to thank the chairman of the board, the trustees, the mayor, for the kind words that you expressed here today. Members of the board of trustees that I've worked with since 1980, I guess, when I first became a trustee of the university. I don't think I've been on the board longer than Al Austin, but I'm trying to catch up to Al Austin. I think he's got me beat. And of course, Ron and Renee for what you are doing for the University of Tampa. Sitting here, I sort of reminisce privately for a little bit, and I believe at the time that I attended, there might have been 700 students. Now it's 7,000. As I recall, all classes were taught at HB Plant Building. The basketball court consisted of one outdoor court. The baseball field was the Tampa Smokers baseball field at Plant Field. Most students were local, other than the football players who did come from out of state. About the only ones who did live on campus were the athletes. Most of others were local. So now you fast forward to 2012, and you've got a magnificent plant serving 7,000 students with almost all new facilities, a restored HB Plant building, which is the icon for the city. Thousands of graduates have come through the university at this time. Many have succeeded in many fields, not just politics, but in business and law and medicine, whatever they may have chosen. And all this is because the people of Tampa came up with great sums of money to expand this university. But to get that money, you need a leader. And that's what Ron has been, a leader in making certain that the people support this university. And I believe that Ron's been blessed with some real good trustees that really have pitched in. I know Al, I think, chaired the first capital campaign committee that we've had. So it's a great honor when you're recognized and you're still vertical. And as Don indicated, at the time that it was first named, and I think it was in Sports Center, not Athletic Center, I was not here. I received a beautiful letter saying it had been named, but I wasn't here. So this for me is a first. It's something I'm really going to enjoy. I'm delighted too that not only Mary Jane is here, and of course Ron introduced our own children, their spouses, but then we've got 3 grandkids here as well. Emily and Lydia, and of course the youngest one, Frankie, over here. And there are other members of the family as well, and I'll cite one, which is my aunt, my mother's sister, Lydia Casada, commonly called Tia. So I'm glad that she's still here so she can see this as well. But in closing, let me say that I had not been in the facility. I do have binoculars. Brad Kimbrough from our firm can tell you that I look west to see what's the best traffic route to go home in the afternoon. So I've also used the binoculars to watch the building on the exterior improvements, but I had not walked in here, and I did not walk in here deliberately because I didn't want to be surprised. Instead of being surprised, I got shocked in terms of the beauty of the facility, and I have not yet traveled throughout, but I intend to do that once this ceremony is over. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I really appreciate it. But most important, it's the students and the athletes that will appreciate this building much more than I will. It's for them that it was done. They're the ones that are going to use it, and we're going to watch them win more titles, Larry. So you better build or expand your facility. Again, thank you all for coming here this morning. Appreciate it.
And now, while you're still vertical, since some of you in the back have been there patiently for a long time, we're very close to wrapping the whole thing up. We need a little patience from you if you don't mind. We're going to ask the platform party to come over and cut the ceremonial ribbon for the rededication of the Bob Martinez Athletic Center. When they're done with that, there's probably maybe 2 pictures, so again, your patience. What I'm also going to ask is that some others of our group are going to go outside to the front of our HSHP, Health Science and Human Performance facility, and they're going to cut that ribbon. But while they're going out to do that ribbon cutting, you all are more than welcome to take advantage of the refreshments. I'd also like to make sure that you understand tremendous support from the faculty of HSHP who are over there to show you some things and answer questions you may have about that particular academic part of the building and all those programs. And a special thanks to Larry Marfis, his entire professional staff, and almost every coach, men's and women's coaches here today to let you see their facilities, the space, the offices, answer any question you may have. So a few more minutes and then you'll be able to do anything you'd like. The entire facility is open, with part of the second floor of the back addition is not open for tours today, because we're going to ask you to come back again in the spring for a very special dedication of that space. But the rest of the facility is wide open.